And Angel Reese is stirring this up. So while she doesn't, Angel Reese always comes off as the victim.
LeBron James just absolutely destroyed Angel Reese for pulling off the cheapest, most pathetic stunt in WNBA history. I mean, who even thinks to use steroids to get to the top?
You just wanted attention. You were being an attention whore. And so because your basketball couldn't do it, you went to other things. It's like a kid that can't get attention from its parents.
But of course, we shouldn't be surprised. Angel Reese has been one to shock us with the worst decisions. She pumped herself full of drugs, thinking that would help her get on Caitlin Clark's level. But even with the cheating, she couldn't come close.
Angel Reese, which is absolutely ridiculous. And let's talk about how ridiculous it is.
How sad is that? The entire NBA and WNBA are turning their backs on her because, let's face it, there's no coming back from this.
A lawsuit's been slapped on her for breaking every rule in the book, and honestly, she deserves every bit of it. Reese dug her own grave with this one, and now she's going to have to deal with the mess she created.
People in sports figures, are you kidding me? A woman that rebounds and shows up half naked to games?
Angel Reese really thought she could take on Caitlin Clark? What a joke. I mean, Clark walked into Reese's own arena, dropped a 31-point double-double like it's nothing, while Reese could barely scrape together a sad little baby double-double. It was a straight-up humiliation. Reese looked like she didn't even belong on the same court as Clark. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse?
And now, the self-proclaimed villain has decided to go after the queen. Now, Angel Reese has decided to antagonize lonely grown women, many of which probably watch the Yentas on The View, and who strangely refer to themselves as Swiffers.
LeBron's tweet was a masterpiece in pettiness. "Hi, haters," he tweeted right after Clark's dominating performance, and everyone knew who that was aimed at. Reese. The same Reese who had the nerve to throw shade at LeBron back in 2021, tweeting some nonsense about how LeBron was no help during the Lakers' playoff collapse. Well, guess who wasn't helping themselves now, Angel? Karma came around, and LeBron didn't forget. He waited, patiently, and when the perfect moment came, he hit send on that tweet like it was the final nail in Reese's career. LeBron wasn't even acknowledging Reese all season. She could have been putting up historic numbers, pulling off 20 rebounds a game, and he wouldn't have blinked. But when Clark wiped the floor with her, LeBron couldn't stay quiet any longer. It was too juicy, too satisfying to resist. And honestly, who could blame him? Reese dug her own grave with that 2021 tweet, and now she was getting buried in it. But the tweet was just the beginning. The real disaster hit when the steroid scandal broke. Angel Reese, in her desperate attempt to keep up with Caitlin Clark, allegedly turned to steroids. EPO, anabolic steroids, whatever she could get her hands on, Reese reportedly took them all. But still, she couldn't compete. Even after juicing up, she was still getting wrecked by Clark. And then she had the audacity to get caught. The WNBA couldn't cover this one up. Reese's positive test rocked the league. This wasn't just some minor scandal. It was the end of her reputation. LeBron's tweet now hit even harder. It wasn't just about her terrible performance on the court anymore. No, it was about Reese being a cheater who got exposed for trying and failing to take shortcuts to success. And let's not pretend it was only LeBron having a laugh at her expense. NBA legends were lining up to take shots at Reese. Stephen Curry? You know he had something to say. Charles Barkley was probably somewhere rolling on the floor laughing. Even Klay Thompson got in on the action. That's gotta sting. Imagine juicing up, risking everything, and still getting obliterated by someone who's just that much better than you.
She disrespected the official. That was the official response to this.
But even with all those enhancements, she was still getting absolutely smoked on the court. The difference between them couldn't have been more obvious. People were comparing her with Clark all over social media, but after this scandal, it wasn't even Reese versus Clark anymore. It was Reese the cheater versus Clark the queen. And you know what? There's no coming back from that.
Angel Reese is the villain, Caitlin Clark is the hero, and Angel Reese continued to play into it last night by getting ejected, and it's almost like it's all scripted. This is perfect. for the WNBA. She's all the talk. She's the one standing up there in front of reporters saying, I need all of you guys to realize there's two of us that changed the game of women's basketball. And it's not just Caitlin Clark. I was a part of that 2 years ago in the national championship game, and it's going to continue to be that way from here on out. I kind of love it. I don't agree with her. It's way more Caitlin Clark than it is Angel Reese.
And let's talk about the social media response, because people were ruthless. Angel Reese became the punchline of every joke, and the memes, they wrote themselves. In a matter of hours, her legacy, or whatever was left of it, crumbled. She went from trying to be Clark's rival to becoming the biggest joke in women's basketball. While Reese was out here disgracing herself, Caitlin Clark was getting crowned as the queen of the court, doing everything Reese couldn't, playing with talent, heart, and integrity.
And Angel Reese is stirring this up. So while she doesn't, Angel Reese always comes off as the victim.
Angel Reese is just the queen of one thing, and that is bad decisions. And this isn't just about her juicing up. No, this goes way beyond that. Reese didn't just embarrass herself with steroids. She made it her mission to be that person who thrives off drama. Remember how she mocked Caitlin Clark? Taunted her, tried to get into her head, pulled every attention-seeking stunt possible?
I've seen a couple girls smirk when she's got knocked down, half-assed to pick her up. Like, y'all supposed to protect the asset, protect the star. And all this is the team. She's the star. You always protect your star. I was someone who protected the stars.
Reese thought she could play the villain, trying to drag Caitlin down at every turn. Every chance she got, she was in Clark's face, trying to rile her up with those ridiculous gestures. Mocking her after every shot, acting like she was some kind of big deal, when in reality, Caitlin Clark was running circles around her without even breaking a sweat.
What are you talking about, woman? She's smart, she's pretty, she a baller, she's got a sex appeal, and she ain't ghetto.
Reese? She was out there with all her trash talk, and what did it get her? A front row seat to Clark's domination. It was a joke. She was a joke. It's honestly pathetic how Reese thought this was going to work. She was more focused on her Twitter fingers and taunts than actually improving her game. She wanted all eyes on her, but for the wrong reasons. Clark's out there making history, and Reese? She's out here trying to pick fights, as if that's going to make her relevant. The only thing Reese proved was how small she really is, taking cheap shots and trying to drag Clark into some petty feud, all because she couldn't handle being outplayed.
But there's nothing about her game that's really interesting that is going to translate to people who may not watch the WNBA, may not care about basketball.
But here's the thing. No matter how much Reese tried to mock, taunt, or trash talk, it never worked. Clark just stayed calm, kept her head in the game, and kept dominating. Reese was left looking like a fool, trying to stir up drama when she should have been focusing on not getting obliterated on the court. She really thought her antics would overshadow Clark's talent. In fact, it backfired.